Hey you guys, welcome back to your Angel Angela. And on this topic, I wanted to come on here and talk to you guys about the narcissist being a fake victim. The narcissist being a fake victim. See, the narcissist, you guys, they come to you with their problems, right? They gossip about their problems. They gossip about other people's problems. They gossip about situations that they created, but somehow they're the victim in all of this. They're the victim, right? So you feed into it. When you don't know what a narcissist is, you feed into it. After narcissistic abuse, after these people torment you and ruin your fucking life, you realize that you can't feel sorry for people who play the victim because you don't know whether they're telling the truth or they're a narcissist, because the narcissist was able to literally push your button to where your sensitive button to make you have some type of compassion for them. You felt sorry for them. A lot of times, this is how they were able to keep you around. You got to think about it. If the narcissist showed you who they really were, this evil, dirty, nasty, weasel, scumbag, lying piece of shit, you would have not wanted to stick around. You would have been like, I'm not getting anything out of this. What's the point on sticking around with an evil, wicked person? There's no point. So what they do is that they come up with a sob story. And this happened to me throughout the whole fucking relationship, where the narcissist would come up with a sob story. Some of these stories were real, some of them were fake. Oh, my mom just had a stroke. You can't question that because it really did happen. So you have to, as an empath, show compassion because you know this is something serious. But what you don't know is that the narcissist is only using that situation to play with your heartstrings. See, it's not about them wanting to be with you. It's about them panicking and wanting to use you as a secondary source of supply, just in case, because their mother is their primary. First of all, you think you're the primary source, but it's really their mother. So they're only looking towards you for a backup plan. They just want to pull with pull your heartstrings. Then, you know, um, the narcissist, exposed to me during the relationship that he had a son and that he didn't know it was his son and that he had just found out it was his son. And he was trying to make me feel sorry for him, like, because in his mind it was like, oh, if I tell you this, I wasn't upfront with you in the beginning about having a kid because it would probably throw you off, or you would probably question me, or you would probably question my relationships because I already have a daughter. So when they don't want to expose to you that they have multiple kids, sometimes they'll lie to you and won't expose how many kids they have. Sometimes you have an idea of how many kids they have, but you don't really know. When you're dealing with these type of people, they might have other kids that you just never saw, you don't know about. They might have other kids in other states. These people are liars. I want you to remember that they're liars. They're delusional. They just don't have empathy, and I can't explain not having empathy. When we talk about not having empathy, we think about someone who doesn't feel sorry for you, someone who can't put themselves in your shoes, but it's not just that. It's something more sinister. It's like, it's like they can't even understand what empathy really is. Like, they know what empathy looks like. They know the definition. They understand what you're saying, what you're telling them, but they don't really understand it. It's like a foreign language to them. Like, it's like, I know I'm supposed to feel sorry for you, but no, but they're just going to say, "Oh, no one feels sorry for me." They're just going to turn everything around on them. And even when it comes to them, it's like, "Okay, I can feel sorry for you. I can have empathy for you. But what are your reasons for me to have empathy for you? Because your reasons that you want me to have empathy and remorse for you don't really make sense, because you're not telling the whole truth. You want me to feel sorry for you because you say you're being bullied, but you're not telling me that you're the one that won't leave all the people that you claim are bullying you alone. Leave them alone. If they don't like you, leave them alone. And the narcissist forces people to like them. It's like, "I don't care. I'm going to force you to like them. I want the bullies to like me. I want them to like me." And this whole time you're thinking that all these people are bullying them, but it's them who are coming around, exposing people, saying things out loud, saying things they shouldn't have said, telling people secrets, gossiping, making fun of people, looking down on people. It's them who's doing all this shit. But when you tell them, "Hey, you're doing all this weird shit and this is what's making people not like you," in their mind it's like, "I know. How do I stop doing it? Why can't I stop doing it? Why can I not control my behavior?" And then it's like, they learn from the empath, and even though they don't want to learn, they learn from you, but they don't really want to take your advice. And then when shit doesn't go their way, they take your advice because they're like, "Okay, it didn't work my way. Let me see if I can do it your way." And then when it works your way, they're basically like, "Oh, this is what I did." And then you're basically telling them, "Oh, you took my advice. Good for you. I told you it would work itself out." And the narcissist is like, "I didn't take your advice. All this shit came from me. What are you talking about?" And that's where the gaslighting starts. And you almost think they're fucking around with you, like they're playing with you, but they're actually serious. And then you're looking at them like they're delusional, they're crazy, and they start looking at you. They're looking into your eyes, and they're looking at you like you're the delusional one. This is why they steal personalities, they steal characteristic traits about you, and then they don't give you the acknowledgement. They'll sit there and take notes. And then later on, after they've memorized the notes, they're like, "Oh, I don't need your help. I memorized the notes." Like, those notes didn't come from you. What notes? I don't see any notes. What notes are you talking about? I didn't take any notes. So, and it's almost like they act like you really didn't catch it. Like, they feel it's like catching someone red-handed doing something, like stealing right in front of you. Like, they just slip something in their bag right in front of you, and you watch them do it, and you're like, "Hey, you just slipped something in your bag." And then they're sitting there gaslighting you, denying it. And then they get angry, they get mad because you're exposing them. But for some reason, they feel like, "If I tell you I didn't do it, I didn't fucking do it. Stop trying to force me to say I did it. I told you I didn't do it." Now they're getting angry. Now they're getting angry. Now they're lashing out at you. Now they're talking to other people about you. They're saying that you're accusing them of stealing. You're accusing them of doing something they didn't do. And they know they did it, but they're still going to run with the story to make themselves seem like an empath, because they feel like having people view them as, you know, as the weaker person in the situation, the person that doesn't have the power. They feel like by doing that, it actually gives them the power, because they see how, it's like it's like a little kid getting in trouble all the time, and now they've realized, if I lie about it, I'll look like the person, the weaker person, the person that got played. Because the person that gets played, they always get all the fucking attention. Every time I do something, it's like a little kid hitting someone, and now the little kid is crying, and then the parent comes and you're consoling the kid that's crying because the kid that hit him is standing there, with no empathy for this kid that got pushed and hit and scraped their knee. So you're trying to make sure that kid feels, comforted during that situation from a bad kid, and you're telling that kid, hey, that's bad what you did, I'm gonna take your toys away, I'm gonna put you in punishment. So the narcissist, they're so conniving that they're kind of like, well, you didn't see me push him. Yeah, he's on the floor, but he pushed me first. And then, or the narcissist is the type of person that they pushed you, but they're going to fall on the floor so that when people walk in, both of you are on the floor, and they're going to point the finger at you, or you do something they don't like, they're going to hurt themselves, cut themselves, fall on the floor, break a knee, and then they're going to say, oh, I was trying to make sure that, so and so was inside the house before their curfew, and they didn't listen to me. And when I was on my way to open the door, close the door, they pushed me, and that person could have slipped. That narcissist could have slipped their damn self, but they're gonna blame you for pushing them. So a lot of times you're in situations where a narcissist does something to you, or they start something with you, or you just care about them, you love them, and you're trying to make things right with them, but it's almost like impossible to make things right with them, because in their eyes they have to be the victim in the situation. And this could be your parents, this could be anyone. It's like you're trying to express to them the reasons why you feel the way you feel, and while you're in the midst of that, they don't want to hear that shit, because in their eyes they have to be the victim. Because if they agree or apologize or take accountability, they almost feel like you're making me take accountability and trying to make it seem like what I did to you is my fault. And you're like, well, it is, motherfucker. It is your fault, right? It is your freaking fault. In their eyes, it's like, it's not my fault until I say it's my fault. If it's my fault, I'll say it's my fault. But if I, to them, it doesn't really matter, because it's all about them not looking like a bad person. And even though you know what happened to you, you know what they did to you, you know that other people don't understand until the narcissist does it to them. You know that. So the narcissist feels like, well, if all it takes is for you to try to sabotage me by telling other people, if all it takes is for me to do all these things to other people for them to know that it was me, what's the point on admitting to what I did to you anyway? Because, no one's going to believe you. Most people won't believe you, even if I admit to it. They're not going to care, because I'm not doing it to them. So that's where the narcissist arrogance comes in, and they're kind of like, they're not giving you that closure. And in the midst of them not giving you that closure, they're kind of like, well, I have other friends. I have other people that like me. I have other people that look up to me. Other people don't feel the way you say you feel about me, or I feel about you. Other people don't feel like that. It's all in your head. Now they're making it seem like you're crazy. All because they don't want to admit to what they did. They're so far gone to where they're like, I'm not even thinking. In their mind, they're not even thinking about what they did to you. They don't even care. That's where the lack of empathy also comes in. It's like they don't even care what they did to you. Then, when something happens to them, and sometimes it happens it could come in a different form. Sometimes it could be even identical to what they did to you. Sometimes the same thing that was done to you, it'll happen to them through someone else. But they won't admit it to you. So they'll come to you acting like they're your friend, acting like, you're still in a relationship with them, acting like they want to be back with you. But it's really because they feel like shit because someone else has discovered that they're not shit. Someone else has discovered that they're a thief, that they're a liar. And because they're embarrassed, because it's not that they're embarrassed, because they really don't give a shit, right? They're the type of person to get exposed and walk around with their noses in the air like they didn't do shit. But deep down inside, they are embarrassed. Deep down inside, it does bother them that their personality sucks. They like it when they're on that high. When everyone likes them, they're on this high. But they know that there's going to come a point in time where they're going to do or say something and it's going to make people look at them weird. They know they're going to come into a point in time where they're going to become delusional. They're going to say the wrong shit because they're crazy. They're delusional. So they know they're going to say the wrong shit, and a lot of times they're the enablers and flying monkeys. They ignore these things, or sometimes they laugh at it, or they take the narcissist as a joke until they finally realize that the narcissist, they're not joking, that they really are delusional. They really think everyone likes them. They really think that everyone wants to be like them. They really think that everyone is intimidated by them. They really think that they're the funniest person in the room. So eventually people start to see that, but in the narcissist doesn't have any empathy. So to them it's like, I can't see things through your lenses, because your lenses, you don't have 20/20 vision. You're stupid to me. They think they're smarter than everyone and everyone else, because of the data that they've gathered. They've gathered data, information, but because their emotional intelligence is not, up to par, it's like you can't completely make sense. They can't completely make sense out of situations and people's emotions, because if you are unable to feel certain emotions or emotions of others, or see that you're frustrating and you're killing people's spirits, and you're bringing people down, and you're exhausting them with your negativity, and you're breaking down people that actually care about you. If you can't see these things because of your emotional intelligence, then it doesn't really matter how much information you have, because guess what? A lot of us have a lot of information about narcissist people, but it was still hard to leave them. Why? Because it didn't matter how much information we had. It all had to do with our emotional intelligence. We had information. We knew this person lied or cheated or did things, but our emotional intelligence was what was able. That was the heart. That was what was keeping us attached to them. That was what was keeping us from detaching to them. It was like the truth, facts didn't matter, because it was like, I just want to be in love, or I just care about this person, right? So you almost ignore everything else because you're living in your emotional intelligence. You're not thinking of, you know, the outcome of anything, because you're hoping that your love, your goodness, your kindness will change this person almost, So you're not living in a world where you're not living in common sense. And the narcissist is definitely not living in a world with common sense. So you're basically going crazy going back and forth with these people because there's no emotional intelligence. And then just when you give up and you're like, this motherfucker doesn't have emotional intelligence, that's when they come and they love bomb you because they know, oh, I know this person doesn't want to be my friend anymore because I don't have emotional intelligence. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something nice for them. If I do something nice for them, that's going to make them forgive me because that's all they wanted. That's why they were crying. That's why they were going back and forth with me because that's all they wanted. So the narcissist does nice things not because they care about you the way you think they do, because they know that they can't even care for you the way you want them to. They know this. So to them, it's like, I'm going to do something nice because I know that's all you want. You know, it's kind of like someone starving. It's like you starving and you're going and knocking on this door and you're like, please give me some food. Please give me some food, please. And the person's telling you, I don't have any food. Meanwhile, they have a full fridge packed with food. They just don't want to give you any. And then you finally go and sit on the sidewalk and you're like, okay, I guess I'm just not going to eat tonight. No one feels sorry for me. The narcissist does not feel sorry for me. But if it was the other way around, I would have gave them food. Yeah, really, I gave them everything. And now look at them. They're treating me like shit. They won't give me anything, right? Now that the narcissist sees you on the curve, it's not that they're coming outside. They're giving you they're coming outside with a plate of food. They're not coming outside because they feel sorry for you. They're coming outside when they get bored. They're like, oh, I'm bored. I don't have you to dump all this, all this negative energy on. I don't have you as my therapist to tell me when I'm doing something wrong. I don't have you to encourage me and to push me to be a better person. See, they need you for certain things, like certain conversations they have with people, or certain things where people are catching on to them, but they're starting to see that the narcissist has no emotional intelligence, and they were using you for the emotional intelligence, because without emotional intelligence, you can't completely read people. You can have data like a computer and assume certain things about people, label people, but without emotional intelligence, it's like you're gonna make assumptions about people and then you're gonna be wrong because you don't have emotional intelligence. You're gonna be wrong every time. You're going to be jumping to conclusions. The narcissist is delusional when they'll force themselves on someone and then they'll say, oh, that person likes me, and because they don't have emotional intelligence, that person can tell the narcissist, I'm not ready to be in a relationship. I really don't want to date. And the narcissist doesn't believe them because they don't have emotional intelligence. If the person tells them, I don't want to have sex, the narcissist is like, you're just saying that. You don't really mean that, and you're telling them I really mean it. But because they don't have emotional intelligence, they'll rape you, you know? They'll rape you, and then after they rape you, they're like, I really thought you did want to have sex, my bad. And now they want to act like they have emotional intelligence, but they still don't. They just know that what they did was wrong because they know they have enough information to know it was wrong. And now you're still, after you've had sex with them, you're still telling them, I didn't want to have sex. You forced yourself on me. And they almost feel like their sex was so good that they're like, oh, my sex was so good that I know you forgot. I know you forgot that you said you didn't want to because you know it was good. It was good to you just as much as it was good for me, you know? And you're looking at them like, no, I didn't even want to do it with you. And you forced yourself on me. And now the reality hits them like, well, she did say that when I started, and now she's still saying the same shit that I forced myself on her. I can get in trouble because my emotional intelligence sucks. So while they're in the midst of having sex with you, they're thinking, well, you're wet down there, so you must really like me. And it's like, no, you forced yourself on me just because it seems like you think you're making it up in your head that I'm having a good time. They're saying things to themselves to justify that you like being raped and you like being taken advantage of. There's no emotional intelligence there. There's just different levels of what a narcissist would do. They're like animals. They're crazy, they're diabolical. I've seen children act like this. I've seen kids act like this where I had to keep repeating certain things because they couldn't connect their behaviors to being toxic. And even when they connected it to being toxic, they're basically telling me, well, I don't know how to control it. I don't know how to stop it. I don't know how to stop myself from trying to force people to like me. You know, so it's like they're forcing you to like them. It's like a kid. It's like a toddler in an adult body. It's like something happened, or it's not even like trauma. It doesn't mean that the narcissist was molested or anything like that. Some narcissists have a good childhood. It's just the emotional intelligence isn't there. Their parents, they're you don't want to tell people that they're not good parents or stuff like that, especially people that they do everything for their kids. They take their kids to school, they make sure their kids eat, they make sure their kids are in sports, they do everything that they feel like a parent should do. But there's something emotionally that they're not doing. They're not. Some kids need more attention on an emotional level than others. Other kids, they just kind of get it. They pick up on these things right away. They learn from their classmates, from students. Some kids get bullied and they can't learn this emotional intelligence because they're worried about, why am I being bullied so much? And then they decide, hey, I'm done trying to figure out why people don't like me. I'm done trying to figure out, because they don't like me for no reason. So guess what? I'm not going to like you for no reason. And now they become the big bad wolf. Now they're the bullies, right? So you're dealing with a bully who has no emotional intelligence for you, because in their mind, they have to get you before you get them. But you weren't in their life, their friend, in the first place to get bullied. But that's the mindset that they almost have, is like, I have to get you first. And you'll be in a relationship with someone like this, and you're kind of like, didn't anyone teach you to treat your girlfriend, your partner, with respect? Like, what's the point on you getting in a relationship to be a bully? It's weird, right? But that's what they do. They play the victim, and they've learned to treat other people and get what they want by putting the blame on others, not taking accountability. And even when they finally take accountability, and tell you what they've done to you, they'll tell you in detail what they've done to you and how it's affected you. But they don't care because they don't have empathy. They can't connect to what they did. Meaning that they can tell you what they did. They can tell you how you were feeling when they did these things because they were studying you, but they cannot feel sorry for you. You know? And when they think about you wanting them to feel sorry for you, it makes them upset. It makes them mad because they don't understand it. And now they feel like, well, you're trying to make me feel bad, so now I feel bad. And you're kind of like, it's not about you. It's about what you did to me. How can you feel bad? And you're the one who did it to me. So they'll feel bad. So in situations where they do stuff, they feel bad, but they don't feel bad for you. They feel bad for themselves. Like, they know they ain't shit. They know that they did some stupid shit. So they feel bad, but not for you, for themselves. And it doesn't even make sense because You should feel sorry for the person you did it to so that you won't do that shit again to someone else. But instead, they feel bad for themselves. And when they have enablers and people around them to make them feel better, they'll make up a story and they'll move on with a new supply and they'll blame everything on you. And that's why they don't deal with their problems. They don't deal with their issues. They don't change their behavior, because when they move on to the next person, they're putting the blame on you. They're talking about their exes. They're putting the blame on other people. And now they're repeating the same patterns with that person. And sometimes it even becomes worse. It even becomes worse because they feel like, I got away with all that shit that I did with other people. I'm going to be able to get away with that with you. And then they start treating that new person the way they treated you and other supplies. They get too comfortable with people. And that's why when you get out of narcissistic abuse and you see that these people play the victim, or they try to force you to like them, or they're, all the little games that they play, you see right through it. Because you're like, they get so comfortable with you where they start treating you. What's so crazy is when you meet them, you feel like they're your soulmate because you feel like you know them. You feel like you feel close to them, right? And in the end of the relationship, or when you heal and other narcissists start to approach you, and they come and they're very nice and friendly with you, and some of them even start joking around or take the jokes to another level, or they start getting a little bit disrespectful, or they start assuming shit about you that is not true, and they're trying to tell you who you are as a person, and they're just making up shit, and you're just watching them. It will remind you of the narcissist, and it will make you sick to your stomach, because you'll start to think, wow, in the love bombing in the beginning when I met the narcissist, I felt like he was my soulmate. And now when men approach me and they're playing the same game, or they're treating me like they know me, but it's like they don't have a connection to understand that I'm not their ex. I'm not someone that you know. I'm a complete fucking stranger to you. You think you know me, but in reality, I'm a stranger to you. Whether you want to believe it or not, I'm a fucking stranger to you. So it's weird that you think that you know me better than I know myself, or you're treating me like you've known me for a long time, and you'll pick up on it. And and when you pick up on it and they see you pick up on it, they automatically know that you know that they're weirdos, and they won't put as much effort into you anymore, because they know that they're weirdos, because anyone else that is a weak-minded person would have fell for their words, for their trick, for their charisma. They would have felt, if someone else would have felt comfortable with them, just because the narcissist is acting comfortable with you. If you were to be comfortable with the narcissist would feel like you're like they'll put you in a category where it's like you're like every other supply I've been with, other people that have fed into my delusional world. And then to them it's like, if you feed into my delusional world, it's because you're attracted to me and you like me and you're desperate to be with me. So they're the ones who come off desperate, but if you play with them, they feel like you're the desperate one. They're switching it up on you. This is why you cannot give these people energy. This is why when they small talk you can't even small talk with these people. Hey, hello, how you doing? Hey, have a good day. Oh, you have a partner. Are you in a relationship? Why does it matter? Why does it matter? You just got to shut them off like quick. You can't play with them. You can't sit there. Oh, what do you like to do on the weekend? Oh, yeah, I've been to that restaurant before. I like it there. Oh, they want to bait you into conversations. They want to bait you into conversations to make you feel like they're a familiar spirit. And, and honestly, once you leave the narcissist, that familiar spirit actually becomes scary to you, and if you haven't learned your lesson, you're just going to bump into another one because you're going to keep thinking these people are nice or victims, and they're not victims. They're evil, they're wicked. A lot of people mistake them for empaths. They get more help than the empath does. The empath, once the empath heals, the empath is seen as someone sometimes even mean, just because now you have so many boundaries and so many walls up. You can be looked at as being mean, but you're not being mean. You just know that there's narcissists everywhere. They're literally all over the fucking place. They're everywhere. You're going to run into more narcissists in one day than empaths, and that's a fact. You know, you might bump into one empath and and you could feel their energy because they're off the same energy that you have, you know. But for the most part, you're going to bump into these people like zombies all day. And a lot of them going to come off charismatic. They're going to try to come off polite. They're going to be smiling all in your face. They're going to be looking all into your eyes. And when they see that you look them back in their eyes, they're going to try to act weird about it. Like, oh, you're staring? You're playing the staring game? Because I've noticed this with a lot of narcissists. Like, you know, I make eye contact because I know that when I was dealing with the narcissist, I would try to avoid eye contact because I felt, you know, like I had been abused. But I also know that I live in a world full of narcissists, so it's very important for me to look people in the eyes and to remember faces, right? Because you have to be aware. You're going out. It's like going out into the jungle, even with birds or animals. When a bird is hunting or coming to the ground to get their food sources, they're looking all around because there's constant predators. So if you go somewhere and something happens to you, you didn't pay attention to the person's face, because narcissists prey on that. They see when you're not paying attention. They put the hoodie on and they run up on you and then run past you. And it happens so quick you didn't even catch a glimpse of them because you weren't paying attention, because you didn't want to look up, because you wanted to avoid eye contact. So I don't play that anymore. I'm very, I wouldn't say robotic, but the way I move, I move like a ghost. I'll pop up on you right next to you and you didn't even see me coming because you're not paying attention. And then you'll just jump up and be like, oh, how'd you get there so quick? How'd you get behind me so quick? Because I'm paying attention. You're not paying attention. And by the time you look up, I'm right next to you. So narcissists have that same energy where they'll pop up on you, they'll scare you because you're not paying attention, because you're avoiding eye contact. But now when you're not, when you're living through your eyes, you're living through your spirit. You know, the eyes are the, you know, are the, you know, the eyes are the windows to the soul, right? So you're not living through your body anymore. Your physical body doesn't mean anything to you anymore. So you're living through your spirit, through your eyes, you know, because your eyes, that's how you gather information and memories. So narcissists notice that. I have people that are good people that are just like me. And when I run across people just like me and they make eye contact with me and they have manners and they're really respectful, I could tell the difference between someone who is like me and who's paying attention just like me and someone who's a narcissist. A narcissist, they're going to become uncomfortable with my eye contact because they like breaking people down. They like breaking women down. And when they come across a strong woman who's making eye contact with them and who's not intimidated by another woman, it makes them feel uncomfortable. You know, they'll say things to you. Oh, you're playing the staring game. And I won't even respond to them. I'm like, I'm not playing the staring game. I'm just looking. I'm just paying attention to my surroundings. I'm indifferent. I don't feel like I'm being attacked. I'm just in my own world with my eyes open. I'm not looking down just because you're in front of me. I'm not going to look down if you're in front of me. I'm going to look you right in your eyes, you know. But that will make them uncomfortable because they're the ones who are used to breaking people down, especially their supplies, and then looking them in the eyes. That's Haven't you seen how cold the fucking narcissist is when they break you down and they're looking at you in their eyes and their eyes look dark and soulless? And you're almost like scared and you're crying and you're intimidated, or you feel ashamed, or you feel like shit, right? And they're just looking at you with this glare in their eyes. So when you go out into the world and you're a strong person and you're looking at these people in the eyes, it makes them uncomfortable because they know there's something different about you. They know that you probably went through something and now you pay attention to everything. And because they know you pay attention to everything, now they try to antagonize you for paying attention. Now they're picking at you. They're almost telling you, oh, you're paying attention to everything. You're not really as strong. They still think that you're not strong. They feel like you're faking it because they're fake. Because they're fake victims, because they're fake people, because they fake smile at you, because they're fake friendly, because they're fake funny. Everything about them is fake. So they try to project that onto you. You know, so that's what you're dealing with the fake victim. And then just because you made eye contact with them and you stood your ground, they'll go tell other people, I don't like her. She's weird to me. She's this, he's that, because you made them feel uncomfortable, and now they're playing the victim. Now they're telling people that you're mean, that you're evil, that you're a bitch. They're saying things about you. And then what's so funny is they'll come back around you because it kills them, because they want people to feel like they're the victim, and then people don't really feel like other people will feel like, oh, that wasn't my experience with her. She's cool, or she's a really good person. What are you talking about? Because they know that you have manners. They know that you have etiquette. They know that you have boundaries. Other people can see who you really are, but the narcissist can't see who you really are because they're fake. See, you're really a good person with boundaries. They act like they have boundaries and goals and expectations and things like that, but they really don't. They're really fake with it. They only use it to get by. So other people will like you, and it almost seems like it's just them who doesn't like you, and they try to play the victim. They try to do things so that others won't like you, but it doesn't work because you are who you say you are. You don't change. You don't switch, for anybody. So what the narcissist will try to do then is they'll try to be nice to you. They're like, oh, I can't get other people not to like you. Now I have to bow down to you. I have to get on your side. I have to force you to like me. And then sometimes you could feel them forcing themselves on you, and that makes you pull away more. And now the narcissist is wondering why you're pulling away more. They're wondering why you're pulling away more. So that's when they get desperate, and now they try to get desperate for you. They try to make you a supply. They get desperate. Now they give you more sob stories. Now they tell you, oh, my dad used to do this. My parent used to do this. They start hitting you with things to make you feel related to them or to trust them a little bit. Once they see that shit doesn't work, they'll just go to the next supply. They'll go with someone that's going to feel sorry for them. And then, they'll be embarrassed, basically, to be around you. A lot of them, you'll see that they won't bother you anymore. It doesn't mean they're going to stop bothering you. It means that they're just going to stop for a while because they see that you're not feeding into them. You're not getting angry. You're not getting upset when they try to disrespect you, because they're like a kid. You know exactly what they're trying to do. So they get tired, So they'll go sit in timeout with someone else, and they'll come play with you, months, weeks later. They're like, I'm going to play with you. I'm going to come play with you later on. So you're dealing with someone who's constantly playing the victim, constantly victimizing themselves, constantly ruining other people's lives. And what's so crazy is that if I talk to the narcissist right now, he's going to talk shit about his brother. He's going to say, oh, my brother isn't shit. My family isn't shit. My family only thinks about themselves. My family this, that, that. But he can't put himself in those people's shoes. He could say they ain't shit, but they have more emotional intelligence than you do. Whether they're doing worse than you or not. They're not getting the same help or the same opportunities as you are. Because you like to play the victim and you like to act like, oh, if I only had someone help me, I wouldn't be in this situation. I would be better if I had family to help me, if I had supplies to help me. But you've already had people to help you. And the people that helped you, you couldn't stand the people that helped you because you wanted what they had. You're like, oh, I'd rather have nothing if I can't have what you have. If I can't have your shit, I don't even want you to help me. If I can't have your life, I don't even want you to help me. But then they still want to play the victim. They want to play the victim. You know how many supplies and people they've went through that could have changed their life, but they just couldn't stand being with those people, knowing that they had to show empathy and show that person that they're really not a victim. And they know eventually they're going to abuse and do these things, and you're going to know they're not a victim, and you're not going to want to give them all your assets and everything that you worked hard for. So they're like, oh, you know, poor me, poor victim, poor me. Oh, they're putting me on child support. Oh, poor me. Oh, I have multiple kids all over the place. Poor me. Oh, Joe, they make the world so hard for men like me. The world is so hard for me. I can't get the job that I want. I have to work under the table. Oh, all because I made choices when I was younger and had multiple kids. I wish I would have never had kids. I wish I would have. And then they make shit worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And they still want to play victim while they're ruining other people's lives. They're ruining other people's lives. Now they're ruining the new supply's life. And that new supply is getting older. And that new supply is like, I thought we were going to get married. I thought we were going to have children. Oh, I've already been married. I already had children. But that's what you told me. That what you fed off of that. You played the victim. You got with me. You made it seem like we were going to have a better life. We were going to work on ourselves. And now you're telling me all that shit was a lie? Well, I'm the victim. I'm the one they're trying to put child support. At least you don't have kids. So now they're not giving a fuck about what you want. They're only thinking of themselves. That's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with someone that doesn't give a fuck about what you want in life. They don't give a fuck what goes wrong in your life for being with them. They don't care about your family not talking to you, your friends not talking to you. They don't care about your finances being fucked up and you having to start all over from scratch. They don't care about what they did, not just to you, but they've done it to other people because they're so worried about what the fuck happened to them. And they're not even trying to change that. And they're trying to cheat their way around paying the price for their actions, you know. So they are not a victim. And you could tell the difference between a victim because their stories aren't going to add up. They're going to keep trying to play the victim, but there's going to be too many red flags for you to know that they're not the victim and they're the perpetrator. So I'm sending you guys lots of love, light, peace, and your healing. You know, if you guys enjoyed this podcast, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. If you guys want to book a session with me, my booking information will be on the description, and that's how you can show support to my channel. I'm sending you guys lots of love, and I'll talk to you guys on the next one. Bye.